Francesca Caccini, an Italian composer and singer, was born to composer Giulio Caccini in Florence on September 18, 1587. Growing up in the hub of a flourishing artistic community within the Medici court of Ferdinando I, she developed her skills as a musician and her first performances as a vocalist. She and her sister, Settimia, were rising musicians within the court and sang at many events with their family and individually. Francesca became an accomplished instrumentalist in lute and guitar and keyboard as well as her voice. Her fluidity with languages led her also to create brilliant poetry. These talents were the beginnings to a bright future as a musician within the artistic community. Her premiere performance was in Jacopo Peri's opera Euridice in 1600, where she sang airs and choruses written by her father. Later she developed the reputation as La Caccina from the King of France as the best singer he had ever heard. In 1606, Francesca developed a close friendship and correspondence with librettist Michelangelo Buonarroti. Some of their letters have been saved, and the respect and friendship can be seen within a letter from Francesca to Buonarroti. My most illustrious and honorable Signore, everyone delighted in the invenzione when it was said to be yours, and in my prologue on envoy, and in short, the music as a whole, I cannot orate nor express. Suffice it that I assure you it has been some time since I saw Her Majesty and Madame laugh so heartily. The entire room resounded with the loud laughing, and Madame in particular spoke so well of your lordship that in truth you could not desire more. I reserve all the particulars to word of mouth. I will only tell you that in a cheerful voice Madame said to Her Majesty and to the entire audience that your lordship has no equal and your lordship is able to compose in all styles and to suit yourself to all occasions, either serious or gay, easy or difficult. In short, she showed how delighted she was. As for the ladies, they carried themselves well and did themselves great honor. Always most ready to serve you, Francesca Caccini, Signore. On November 15, 1607, she married a fellow musician and composer, Giovanni Battista Signorini. With her dowry, they purchased 2 homes in Florence next to Santa Maria Novella Church. Throughout their marriage, they traveled throughout Europe, particularly in Italy, and had a daughter named Margherita on February 9, 1622. Spanning the years of 1607 to 1627, Francesca taught, composed, and sang with the Medici court, becoming the highest paid musician on the Medici payroll. She wrote music for feste, carnivals, and ballets, for court entertainment, as well as for weekly masses. Il primo libro delle musiche marks an extensive collection of 36 monodies in 1618. It consisted of both secular and sacred music of songs for 1 or 2 voices dedicated to Cardinal di Medici, her patron. In 1625, she was the first woman to compose and publish an entire opera, La Liberazione di Ruggero dall'Isola della Cime, performed on February 3rd. Though there were many qualities to Monteverdi's opera, she strays by adding in flourishes from recitar cantando to her recitatives that were similar to her father's style. Francesca Caccini is quoted as being one of the most empowered female composers contemporary with Monteverdi. As a demonstration of such comparison can be seen when analyzing Caccini's Dov'io, credea, le mie speranze, which may be seen as a female response to Monteverdi's perception of Arianna's lament. It provides the audience with unique and rare perspective. Unlike Monteverdi's take on Arianna's lament, in Dov'io credea, Caccini paints a more reflective outlook. Her lament is not filled with sadness and depression, but rather with an air of contemplation. For the time it was written, this was viewed as being very unusual. Most women characters of this time were commonly portrayed as weeping women. This concept is prominent in Monteverdi's Arianna's Lament and in most female laments. However, Caccini's Arianna's Lament is quite the opposite. In fact, it may not be considered a lament at all. Though the words suggest it is a lament, the accompanying music does not suggest such thing. As Suzanne Cusick points out in her article, Revoicing Arianna, Caccini sets up this lament as more of a reflection as well as a warning to other women. The text relates to the point in opera when Arianna's lover, Teseo, abandons her. She reflects on how her trust was broken by Teseo and uses her misfortune as a warning to other women of the dangers of love and excess. This perspective can be seen in a song structure. The last stanza, "Alas, now I realize and dare to see that the untrustworthy cannot make promises, so it goes," became the refrain. Being repeated multiple times demonstrates its importance in lament. It is Arianna's way of accepting her mistake of trusting Teseo, as well as a warning to other women. The line, "So it goes," is Arianna's way of facing her fate, and is a far cry from Monteverdi's Weeping Women. Another theme that is found in Caccini's Arianna's Lament is the idea of contradictions. Though Arianna may be warning women of the dangers of excess of love and trust, Caccini introduces many ideas that might suggest excess. For example, the repetition of the last stanza, as well as its use as the refrain. Another example is the various use of embellishments throughout the lament. These techniques may be considered a form of excess within the music. The strongest example is the embellishment on the word troppo, meaning too much. Arianna is advocating women be careful of excess, yet she herself is using such excesses. This contradiction may be Caccini's way of demonstrating Arianna's refusal to be seen as the weeping woman. Giovanni Battista Signorini died December of 1626. Yet a year later, Francesca remarried on October 4, 1627, to Tommaso Raffaelli from Lucca. He was an aristocrat and a patron of the arts, which may have been the intrigue of their marriage. Their union was considered the union of sirens, transforming Lucca into a new Parnassus. Through her, he could commission great works and have her teach and draw on great musicians, while he provided her with an upward mobility and status. In February 1630, they had a son together named Tommaso. Many believed that Caccini was torn away from the arts, disappeared or retired from the arts. However, with her new marriage to Raffaelli, it is most likely she continued in the spirit of music and composing, just not publicly. After his death, she was immersed in wealth and upward social mobility. Later, she returned to the court-related life, allowing her daughter to pursue the life of a musician or within the convent, which Francesca also taught and composed for. She paved a way for her children and for female musicians across the globe. Her strong and determined demeanor allowed her to master the arts and succeed as a woman musician. Though the details of her death are not truly known, it is said she died of cancer of the mouth around 1640s. No matter how she died, she lived a life of talented, well-known musician and a lady among society and history. She has inspired female empowerment in music for a lifetime.